Do not touch the king's lifeguard!
The Royal Guard is famous for their flawless posture.
What a handsome lad. You are handsome. You are handsome!
Unwavering discipline, and an unshakable commitment to duty. Tourists from around the world marvel at their dedication, yet some, whether out of curiosity or mischief, attempt to test their limits. What many don't realize is that these guards are highly trained professionals who have zero tolerance for disrespect. Today, we'll take a closer look at the moments when individuals dared to disturb the Royal Guard and face the consequences. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's dive in. Number 1. Ignoring warnings comes at a cost. For some persistent tourists, even a stern warning isn't enough to make them back off. At Buckingham Palace, a group of visitors ignored the guard's clear instructions to step away from the gates. At first, he maintained his perfect stance and firmly ordered them to move. However, when they refused to comply, the situation escalated. Instead of wasting more words, the guard took decisive action, raising his weapon in a clear sign that patience had run out. At that moment, the tourists quickly realized that their behavior had serious consequences. Number 2. When flirting goes wrong. Some visitors don't stop at taking photos. They attempt to flirt with the guards, seemingly unaware of how serious their job is. One woman learned this lesson the hard way. While posing next to a royal guard's horse, she failed to recognize the signs of the animal's growing discomfort. Despite multiple warnings, she lingered too close. Then, without warning, the horse bit onto her coat, yanking her off balance and knocking her to the ground, sending her hat flying in the process. Thankfully, she wasn't hurt, but she certainly walked away with a story she wouldn't soon forget. Number 3. A foolish attempt to impress. Trying to impress his girlfriend, a young man thought it would be amusing to tease a royal guard, hoping to break his stern expression. However, the soldier remained unshaken, standing resolute in his duty. When the young man took it too far by invading his space, he was met with a sudden, forceful command that made him retreat in an instant. It's crucial to remember that these guards are not there for entertainment. Making them laugh is nearly impossible, and any visible reaction on duty could put their position at risk.
What a handsome lad. You are handsome. You are handsome!
Number 4. Even the most disciplined have limits. Taking a picture with the Royal Guard can be an exciting experience, but it must be done with respect, not just for the guards themselves, but also for their horses. Though exceptionally trained, these animals can become distressed by excessive crowding and unpredictable tourist behavior. One memorable moment proved this when a horse, visibly irritated by a pair of intrusive tourists, lashed out unexpectedly. In mere seconds, the animal reminded everyone that even the most disciplined creatures have limits when constantly pushed. Number 5. When mockery turns into embarrassment. A group of tourists, seemingly bored, decided to turn a royal guard into the subject of their amusement. They laughed, jeered, and attempted to provoke him, believing their antics were harmless fun. However, their behavior soon crossed the line, escalating into outright harassment. Before matters could spiral further, a nearby police officer stepped in, promptly removing the troublemakers from the area. This incident served as a firm reminder: respect isn't optional, even when you're just sightseeing. Number 6. Lost in her own world. Wearing headphones and completely lost in her music, a woman wandered through the palace grounds, oblivious to her surroundings. So distracted was she that she failed to notice the approaching guards. It wasn't until they nearly trampled her that she snapped out of her world and hurriedly moved aside. In another case, a tourist attempted to lean on a royal guard while posing for a photo. Despite the breach of protocol, the guard remained composed and discreetly moved her away without making a scene. Number 7. Ignoring the rules comes at a price. Despite clear warnings posted around the area, one tourist repeatedly committed a major violation, touching the horse's reins. Even after being warned, she continued, seemingly unaware of the seriousness of her actions. Whether due to a language barrier or sheer disregard, her persistence made the situation all the more frustrating. Meanwhile, a group of protesters took things even further. Dressed in eccentric blue outfits with their faces covered, they staged a demonstration directly in front of the royal guards. Their protest, aimed at excessive social media usage, had an unintended effect, startling a nearby horse. The animal, visibly distressed, began to react unpredictably. Sensing potential danger, a guard immediately intervened, ordering them to move before the situation got out of control. Number 8. Learning the hard way. A tourist who ventured too close to the palace gates was met with a swift and firm warning. The guard wasted no time making it clear that her actions were unacceptable. Clearly embarrassed, she quickly backed away. Similarly, at the tomb of the unknown soldier, one of the most sacred sites honoring fallen heroes, another tourist made an even bigger mistake. Unaware of the site's deep significance, she stepped over the protective barriers, completely disrespecting the solemn space. A vigilant guard wasted no time in reprimanding her, ensuring she understood the gravity of her actions. In another case, a group of visitors engaged in loud conversation near the memorial, disregarding the reverence expected in such a place. Their chatter was quickly silenced by a guard's stern command, reinforcing the importance of honoring the fallen with silence and respect. Number 9. When respect is instinctive. With thousands of tourists flocking to the palace gates daily, maintaining order is no easy task. One guard found himself issuing warnings to 2 separate individuals in just minutes. Yet, he handled the situation with impressive patience and control. However, not everyone needs to be reminded of proper decorum. In one case, a young boy saw a royal guard approaching and instinctively stepped aside without hesitation. His quick reaction prevented any confrontation, allowing the guard to continue his duty without issue. Number 10. Laughter at the wrong moment. During a visit to the tomb of the unknown soldier, a teacher leading a group of students faced an embarrassing moment when his group burst into laughter during the solemn changing of the guard ceremony. Their behavior, deemed highly inappropriate, earned them a stern reprimand. Unfortunately, some tourists failed to grasp even the most basic concepts of respect. In another case, despite being politely asked to remain silent, one disruptive visitor continued talking non-stop, disregarding both the sacred atmosphere and the authority of those present. Number 11. When animals lose their patience. A royal guard's horse was clearly having a rough day. As tourists gathered around, the animal suddenly jerked its head and stepped back, initially seeming startled. But within moments, it lunged forward, sending the crowd scrambling in fear. Luckily, the guard quickly regained control, restoring order before things could get out of hand. For these horses, standing in the same spot while facing an endless stream of unfamiliar visitors, many of whom ignore boundaries, can be an exhausting challenge. Number 12. A lesson in respect. After witnessing a tourist acting disrespectfully, a mounted officer immediately took action. As the visitor tried to walk away, the officer grabbed his backpack, making it clear that the situation was far from over. She then delivered a firm lecture on proper conduct, only releasing him once she was confident he understood his mistake. Similarly, during a visit to Buckingham Palace, a group of students decided to mock the royal guards for entertainment. However, a police officer swiftly stepped in, reminding them that the guards were simply carrying out their duties. They were warned that if the behavior continued, they would be removed from the area. Number 13. A familiar troublemaker. If you've seen previous clips of the royal guards, you might recognize this woman. She has gained quite a reputation for repeatedly disturbing the guards, especially by touching the horses and their reins, despite multiple warnings. This time was no different. She was once again caught laughing and encouraging other tourists to do the same. While an officer tried to have a serious discussion with her, it was clear that her past behavior made little difference. Surprisingly, despite her repeated antics, she has never faced any legal consequences. Number 14. Disrespect knows no age. A tourist learned the hard way that the royal guards have no tolerance for rule breakers. After she grabbed a horse's reins, she was immediately scolded by the guard, leaving her visibly embarrassed. Meanwhile, another woman didn't take kindly to being advised against doing the same, storming off in frustration rather than heeding the warning. Even the royal guard's horses seemed to be losing patience, especially with younger visitors. In one instance, a horse was startled by a little girl's hat, causing it to react suddenly and sending the surrounding tourists stepping back in caution. Number 15. A reckless challenge. One visitor took an unusual and reckless approach during her palace visit, deliberately throwing her gloves in front of a royal guard. In some cultures, such an action is considered a direct challenge or sign of disrespect. However, before the situation escalated, a nearby police officer stepped in. He calmly retrieved the gloves and explained that the guard was simply performing his duty. Thanks to the officer's intervention, the situation was quickly diffused before any further conflict arose. These instances serve as valuable lessons. The royal guard is not there for amusement, and ignoring the rules can come with swift consequences. So, next time you visit, remember, respect goes a long way. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Absolute Facts for more fascinating content.